Hey, for pistol shot number 21, we're doing a standing glute med integration drill with a band. And that just simply means we're focusing on the glute med and how it needs to work to help us stabilize from our hips down to our ankles. So the point of the band is not to use the strongest band for a strengthening exercise. This is more of a stability exercise, and it will be accessing the strength of your glute med to do so, but it's not the strength of the band that's going to do that. Otherwise, you may want to have a broomstick of some sort and a wall, and we'll show you the modifications using those should you need it. All right, so the band goes down to your ankles or right above your ankle joints, and you may want to probably do it, of course, unlike me, shoes off, okay? But once you have that band set, we're first going to hinge back. So with the hinge, we're looking for about 30 degree of an angle, okay? So you're not down here, but you do want to have that hinge on. That means we do have a slightly soft knee. If we're going to work on our left side, this left side will remain planted, and the whole point of this drill is that we're keeping everything from the glute med to the knee down to the ankles in a straight line as much as possible. Okay, this one is spastic when he plays. All right, so once you're set up with the hinge, with that straight leg alignment, okay, now he's playing with my shoelaces, good Lord. Then the whole point is to keep this straight as you lift the other leg straight out and back, straight out and back, okay? So it will look like this, and look, so as soon as I lift my right foot, you can see I start leaning toward my left side. This is my more problematic side. So what we're trying to do is use our glute med to engage through the quads, engage through the core as well, keep that hip hinge on, and remain upright and fighting to keep that knee from caving inward, and using our feet in order to stabilize the ankle. So that's what we mean by integration, right? That glute med is helping, squeezing that glute med, which is being activated by the fact of this band tension, okay, of the opposite leg. We're accessing that glute med activation in order to start helping us very conscientiously to keep upright and keep our balance, fire everything. Okay, so you'll see that once I switch to my right side, so now I'm standing straight and on both legs, do my hip hinge. You'll see on my right side, it's so much easier for me to remain straight, okay? Whereas if I come here, lift off, immediately I feel a little bit of tweaking and I have to fight it. So do make a note for yourself on what the differences are on the left and right side, okay? So we could go for about 20 reps or so on each side, okay? Again, we're not trying to take this as far as possible or to hold it for tension or anything like that. We're just using it as our tool for activation here when we lift off that foot, okay? Trying to remain straight. Okay, there might be a lot of fight going on, lots of stuff going on here. Okay, if you find that the band is difficult, or doing it this way is difficult, instead of removing the band, try it where you're holding on to a stick. And the stick is good too, because it will give you a visual to try to remain lined up on that side as straight as possible. But instead of using the stick as a crutch to lean into, what you want to do is press it down to the floor more so in order to emphasize that straight alignment here. Okay, so hip hinge back, feet are nice and flat on the ground, and keep that whole side straight. Okay. The other thing you can do for a modification, especially if you're working on the hip hinge still, is to use the wall and to hip hinge right up against that wall until you feel that tap. So about 6 inches away from that wall. Hinge back until you feel the butt tap. Okay, so a little bit too forward. So hinge back until you feel that butt tap. Don't lean into it. Just figure out how much you need to push the hips back to get into that hinge, and just barely tap it. Okay, and then from here, execute the drill. Okay, so it will tire out if you do 20 reps. 10 reps, 5 reps, whatever you could do before you tire out so much so that you can't hold that. But you will feel this for sure. Okay, so again, fighting to not let the knees cave in, fighting to keep that balance, and allowing, maybe fighting is not the best word, because what we're trying to do is allow our glute med to do its job. Okay, to stabilize the pelvis, to keep the knees in alignment, as well as the ankles. Okay, so this is how this plays into the pistol, is that when we're going up and down and we have that movement, we're trying to make sure we're accessing every part of the strength, this time the glute med, in order to help stabilize that pistol shape, which again is a show of your, all of your strength and mobility, flexibility, and balance. All right, so this is a drill. So once again, you could tack it on either to the beginning or to the end of a workout session, or use it as a standalone practice drill. Give it a go.